Listen, I'm humbled to be breathing the same air as the GOAT here in studio. He goes by the name of Jean de Villiers, and he is here with us just to talk about an initiative that they have, which is to help South Africans fight or combat the fight against the hunger. We all know that it's been a problem for so many years. I know that South Africa is still a developing country, but we're slightly trying to get to a place or to a point where we feed everyone in the country. But I will allow him to introduce himself, and he is a proud Perelid. Welkom terug in die Perel, Jean.
Ja, baie dankie. It's always great to be in Paul and support local. As I mentioned, I'm born and bred a Perelid and moved back about 4 years ago. My kids are at school here, and look, whenever people ask me wherever I travel through the world, I love the place, I love the people, and it's very much home. So it's great to be here today.
Jean, I know that today we're going to be talking about something that's very important, which is food insecurity in South Africa and then also globally. But I have to, it's not every day where we have a GOAT in studio talking to us about, a very, very important issue. But firstly, can we just maybe touch on your rugby career? I know that you're a former Springbok captain, and you also played for the Western Province, and you played overseas as well for these big teams. Do you ever miss going back to the field, just tackling them? By the way, you are huge. If I played rugby and I had to tackle you, I'm telling you, I would move out of the way.
Well, that's why I moved out of the way as well, because I became one of the small players in the team. Look, the guys are bigger, stronger, faster these days. So to your question, do I miss it? At times I think I do. I'm quite lucky in that, I do work for SuperSport as well still, and stay pretty close to the game in terms of that. But, probably the best way to describe it is when I've been at some of especially the test matches, the big games, and you stand there and they're singing the national anthem, and you get the juices flowing, and then you feel, well, maybe I've still got one or two games in me, and then then it's kickoff, and then you see that first tackle, you hear that first tackle, and you kind of feel that first tackle as well, and then my body just tells me, you're too old. Okay, your time has been. So in terms of that, you miss elements of it. You miss the camaraderie. You miss your friends that you kind of went into war with. But look, I'm too old. I'm too sore. My body's too sore, and I can hardly run. So yeah, I'll stay away and leave it to the next generation, who's doing an unbelievable job at the moment.
There's a question that I always wanted to ask your rugby players. Do you ever, when tackled, in the most weirdest or the most hurtful way, do you ever get angry and say, you feel like you want to go to the person and just,
Of course, it happens all the time. I think that's the beauty of rugby, is like it's almost a release of emotions at time, where you've got all this anger sometimes built up, and then rugby is the opportunity to do that, to go out and legally, try hurt other people, which sound quite vicious to all the moms out there. It's still a safe sport. It's still, one, and I think that's the beauty. That really is the beauty of rugby, is that, I always use the example. You can try and rip each other's heads off during the game, literally, but then the final whistle goes, and you literally see guys about to fight. Then the final whistle goes, they drop their hands, they shake each other's hands, and 5 minutes later they're probably having a drink together.
Yeah,
and that is the beauty of rugby, and I think the ethos of rugby, and that's why I've always loved it. It taught me so much. It taught me so many life skills, and I'm extremely thankful for the time that I had as a professional.
Yeah, and outside of rugby, I know that AB de Villiers plays the guitar. What do you have, hobbies that you do outside of your rugby life? And yeah,
why do you have to mention a de Villiers that's so much better than me? I'm not even the best in my surname now. Look, he's quite a phenomenal human being, old AB. It's probably one of the best cricketers ever to
Most
have played the game, and he's musical. He plays unbelievable golf. He was a good rugby player as well. I'm not on the same level, so I enjoy playing a round of golf as well, and I'm not great, but I really enjoy it. But besides that, I suppose trying to be a good dad and trying to be a good husband, which is my focus at the moment, and then obviously the work that I'm doing currently. So yeah, nothing else really outside of rugby. At school, my mom always says I was a pretty good swimmer, and she thought that was actually my best sport. But way too lonely, and no kind of teammates and balls to kick around as well. So I stuck to rugby.
Hey, swimming is an extreme sport for me. Don't ever put me in the pool. Jean, I know that you're the head at Citadel Philanthropy Foundation. So I just wanted to maybe speak to you. I know that outside of rugby, there are other things that you're also doing, things that are very much important in our community. I come from Mbewe, Niue. I know there's a lot of people who are struggling, especially throughout this pandemic. Food insecurity is a global problem. It is a South African problem. I know you visited Epping, an organization that also is fighting to combat food insecurity in our community. Can you maybe just tell us why you guys decided, hey, we want to get involved, we want to be part of this and help our people?
Yeah, look, maybe just to give some background in that, again, having a platform of being a professional rugby player, and especially playing for the Springboks, you have a platform where you can really impact people's lives, and use that platform for good. And I was fortunate to be able to do that for 13, 14 years as a Springbok. And then after that, it's kind of, what do you do now? How can you still, have a positive influence on people's lives? And I was fortunate that Citadel Wealth Management, employed me back then after retiring, and I took over our Citadel Philanthropy Foundation. And what we try to do there is really look at our client base and how we can promote charitable giving, and also how we can then link that with organizations doing fantastic work in the non-profit space. And FoodForward, we started a relationship with probably about 5 years ago, and we've been able to assist them in what they are doing. And basically what they are doing is they are distributing food throughout South Africa to other non-profit organizations, also helping in the ECD space, old age homes, marginalized people in South Africa, and helping them to also get a meal a day. Now, the beauty about all of this is they're providing a meal for a person at 85 cents a meal, which is just fascinating. It is fascinating, astonishing, and I still don't really know how they do that, and they deliver to these organizations. So from a Citadel Philanthropy Foundation point of view, we partnered with them. We're helping them to just amplify what they are doing, and really help the people out there. I always say to people, sometimes you think that you're having it hard, you're struggling maybe even at work or with a car or whatever, but in South Africa we have so many options. We have a beautiful country, but what we don't realize is so many people go to bed every single night with an empty stomach, with no meal during the day, and that needs to change. And if we do nothing will change. So there's a responsibility that if you're in a position to be able to help, then you have to help.
We're grateful to have organizations like yours, Citadel Philanthropy Foundation, doing amazing work. I know that it's the first of in South Africa where you guys are collecting donations, funds to donate to other organizations that help communities. And as you were speaking, I'm thinking about the child who is in a home that's child-headed, where there's no parents, man. I feel like this is amazing. To someone that's listening out there and taking everything in with what you guys are doing, what would the process be for an organization to be part of this list that you guys maybe have to donate or support them financially to feed a community, hopefully the nation?
Yeah, again, just to get in contact with us on the through the Citadel website, citadel.co.za, and just apply there. Again, I think I think the beauty of South Africa that we've seen over so many years now is that if we all pull in the same direction, if we all want to achieve the same thing, really the sky's the limit, and we can achieve amazing things. But I think what COVID has created is that it has made the divide so much bigger in terms of the haves and the have-nots, and that needs to change. We need to bring each other a bit closer together. We need to make sure that everybody has an opportunity and a chance in life, and unfortunately that's not the case in South Africa. There's a lot wrong in this country. There's a lot of things being done in the wrong way. But whenever I travel all over the world, my favorite flight is always the one back home. And I don't want to live anywhere else in the world, and that's why we're trying to create change and trying to provide opportunities, try to get, just to change the cycle that we're in currently. And it's difficult, it's tough, but I strongly believe that if we pull together and everybody, is doing their part, their little bit, and not talking about massive, just something, then we can create this change.
We're speaking to Jean de Villiers, who is a former Springbok captain, and not only a leader in the pitch, also a leader outside of the pitch. And I guess I understand why the coach decided, hey, maybe Jean de Villiers should be a captain, because you lead by example. I like what you just said. Now the height that you love the most is the one back home. Jean, if you can maybe just tell us, I know that you mentioned earlier that you visited Epping. From the experience, what do you as Citadel take away from that experience, and maybe just to encourage you more to push and have to put more effort to help South Africa, or help feed South Africa?
Yeah. Well, again, Bandile, I think the big lesson here is that it's not about recreating the wheel. It's about identifying those organizations that are already doing fantastic work, and then just strengthening their hand in terms of what they are doing. And FoodForward South Africa is an amazing organization doing amazing things, and they are feeding millions of people on a daily basis almost, and that really is incredible. So how can we help them? So I visited the offices in Epping, spoke to Andy du Plessis, the MD there at the moment, and they're just doing great work and sharing how they are creating these meals, where they are getting food from farmers and other organizations as well, and then using that to be able to feed, like I said, the marginalized people. So Citadel Philanthropy is playing a very small part in all of this, but again, I think the beauty is in the collaboration. The beauty is in so many different organizations pulling together and creating change.
And we respect the organization for doing amazing work like this, and also a shout out to Andy du Plessis, who is the MD at FoodForward SA, and also Umama Uviki, who is doing the utmost best that she could do to help the community, to help feed so many children, as Jean mentioned earlier. Jean, with Citadel Philanthropy, taking from the visit that you guys had, how would you encourage people to also sort of follow in the same footstep to encourage others to make a difference in their community by feeding people, and how do they get involved?
I think firstly, before I answer that question, I'd like to just touch on Maviki as well that you mentioned, in that again, she's in Khayelitsha. She started this ECD center, early childhood development center, where I think she's looking after close to 200 kids on a daily basis, and helping them. And the early childhood development is so important in South Africa. We know that education as a whole is a big issue in South Africa, but you can go about it and try fix tertiary education, but the reality is that such a small percentage of kids that start grade 1 actually make it to grade 12, and eventually then to tertiary education. And you need to look at the grassroots level, and in the ECD space, if we can provide more education there, then the chances of kids going all the way through school, all the way through grade 12 and passing grade 12 will be so much better. So she's doing fantastic work in that, and also some of the other helpers that she has there. But, a hungry child can't learn. And again, that's where FoodForward is doing fantastic work, in that they are providing meals to these kids that she's educating. And in that collaboration, again, we are dealing with education, and we are helping with education. So to a humble woman like Maviki, we should be so thankful for people like that creating change in that little community. And with that answer, I totally actually forgot what the question was.
how can we get involved? And also, I'm just thinking about the time the news guy just looked out through the window.
It's load shedding. It's load shedding. We can't see the time. We just use that excuse. With all the bad, we can always have a positive spin on it.
Exactly. Yeah. How do people get involved, and also on a social media platform for someone that's listening now? Because in South Africa, we believe in the spirit of Ubuntu, working together, because that's how we grow. So how do people get in touch with Citadel, and then also how do they get involved?
Yeah. Again, through either the website citadel.co.za, some of the social media platforms as well that we're in. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and yes, I think that is it. I'm not good with the social media stuff, but get involved. Send a message. An email is usually the easiest. I'm old. I'm not used to the new stuff.
You don't look a day older.
And then. And then through that, see how we eventually can help. It's all about, building relationships and then seeing how you can help. So sometimes people think, charitable giving is being able to give millions, I almost want to say on a yearly basis. It's not that. It's being able to give your little bit that you are willing to give away, and then combining all of that and the impact that we can make with all of that together is will just be amazing. So let's pull together and let's take this on together.
Jean, thank you so much for your time, and I know that you have a busy schedule, and we were pushing for 30 minutes, but unfortunately that didn't work. I actually wanted to put you on the spot.
Can't we do the news? Can't the two of us do the news? No, I'm sorry.
I actually wanted to have a Jerusalem dance with you, just to put you on the spot, but it's one of those things.
I'll get injured. I'll definitely get injured.
Time doesn't allow. Jean, again, what you guys are doing is amazing, and you are really a leader and a hero to so many of us here in South Africa, and continue the amazing work. They say aluta continua. So all of the best, and I know that you guys will make a difference. Hopefully other people will be encouraged to do the same thing.
Yeah, thanks also to you, to Radio KC, just the impact that you're making in this community. We should be proud of what we have here, and we should pull together and really just make Paul the best place in the world. We're close already.
So true. That was the GOAT himself, Jean de Villiers, former Springbok captain, sharing his bit in making a difference in our community. So be encouraged. Remember, COVID happened. So many people are having issues, mental issues. Food insecurity is also a big problem. But stay locked on KC 107.7, the sound that sets you free.